Good morning, everyone. My name is Paola Tapsic, and I will now present you briefly our project for developing Seawetra. Seawetra is also presented in a poster where you will also find all the names of actually all the people working on this project. Me, myself, I'm a marine mammal researcher, so I'm actually one of the potential very end users of this integrated platform for monitoring marine systems. First, I would like to introduce you briefly who we are. So CIMA Research Foundation is a non-profit research center funded by 4 public bodies: the Civil Protection Department, the Regione Liguria, the University of Genova, and the province of Savona. We currently have 2 branches, one in Italy, in Savona, and one in Tirana, in Albania. And our research activity is divided between 3 different big areas, and namely civil protection, disaster risk reduction, and biodiversity. Then, within each big area, we are developing specific research projects and also operational tools, again, in this framework. So concerning biodiversity, one of the specific areas where we are working is actually the monitoring and conservation of marine mammals in the Pelagos Sanctuary. As a matter of fact, the northern Ligurian Sea is a marine protected area for such species, so it's mainly cetaceans. And our aim with our research activity in the area is not only to increase the knowledge on the distribution and conservation status of these animals, but also trying to develop effective tool for the marine spatial planning that needs to be applied into this area. Together with Aquatech Foundation, which is actually the practical arm of CIMA, we have been developing platform for disaster risk reduction since the very last 10 years. Our expertise is based on a platform which is called Seawetra and which is now widely used for the hydrological risk forecasting and wildfire risk forecasting. Based on this knowledge, we are now trying to develop this Seawetra platform aimed for the monitoring of the marine systems. So actually, we are acting as intermediate users in using the CMEMS products and make them more available to all the potential end users. Seawetra doesn't have a real specified end user market, meaning that anyone involved in marine ecosystem monitoring and conservation could be actually a potential end user of our products. As beside being known as a very important biodiversity hotspot, the Mediterranean Sea is also, as it's said by its name, a sea between lands, meaning that it is a sea that has always been used by human activities to be developed in such areas. So such a wide end-user community needs environmental data to be as accessible as possible. And this is actually exactly the aim of our platform, to provide this data ready to use to all the possible end users. The main core of the architecture of Seawetra is the distributed data server, or also called DDS. In practice, each DDS node is the engine in charge of getting the data in their native format, parse them, archive them, and make them available to any client request. Thanks to this architecture, end users can directly access to a wide range of data stored in all the allowed DDS nodes. So differing from the data usually published on GeoServers or any other WMS service, in our architecture, user can publish and access to time-varying data, such as remote sensing data, oceanographic and meteo forecast model data, and so on. So the very first release of Seawetra took place within the framework of the CAPRANet project. And in that framework, specifically, project partners needed environmental data for the Adriatic Sea region to be accessible in order to evaluate the possible impact of environmental conditions to some human activities, and namely aquaculture sites. So in this very first And this was the very first release, and we have now opened a new portal, which is www.seawetra.org, which is accessible to everyone, not only to project partners, in order to further disseminate this platform. In this new release of Seawetra, we are now displaying many of the Mediterranean coverage products provided by CMEMS, both from observational platform, then forecast models. Concerning satellite observation, we are providing the most commonly used variables for marine monitoring, so it's sea surface temperature anomaly, wind speed and wind stress, sea level anomaly, and chlorophyll concentration from multi-satellite data. Concerning forecast data, we are displaying different layers organized by both the physics and the biogeochemistry model for the Mediterranean Sea. So we are providing access to all these variables, all organized in different layers so that end users can actually overlay all the needed layers one on top of each other. So together with being actually a web GIS application, with Seawetra, we are also trying to develop specific solutions to reply to different end users' requests. As an example, we have developed a way to dynamically correct the palette of the satellite data for chlorophyll and actually for any satellite data now, depending on if the end user is a coastal one or the pelagic one, as myself, we might need to see the same data in a different way to actually access the variability of the environmental of the environment in this area. Actually, together with environmental data, Seawetra also can host data from anthropic activities. I will now show you some brief examples. So, for example, we are now displaying in Seawetra also IES data from our area, so it's shipping positions that can accessed also not only by actually visualizing the tracks of the single vessels, but also by density rasters for the last month, week, or days. In a first project, we have tried to actually overlap exactly these density traffic maps for marine shipping with the model of distribution of cetaceans, and namely, well, fin whale and sperm whales, which are the species more at risk from fatal ship strikes, in order to develop a whale risk analysis that can be used to more effectively plan actually shipping routes within a protected area. We are also providing, thanks to Seawetra, maps of distribution of marine mammals in the area, all built and organized following the INSPIRE Directive requirements for the data distribution on animals in the Mediterranean Sea. So what are the possible improvements? I must say that when we first presented Seawetra to possible end users, everyone was always really impressed by the possibility of actually access such environmental data. But having dealt mainly with coastal end users, the request was always the same one. They need data with a higher resolution, both temporal and spatial. And even though there are some new products now in the CMEMS catalog that actually can reply to these questions, one other improvement asked was actually for real data, for example, for waves or seawater quality, again, especially in coastal areas. But we know that this is mainly, again, it has already been said previously here, a problem of the existence of such data, actually. And maybe accessing to true chlorosatellite imagery could be a solution for some of the possible end users. And, well, concerning another improvement that we are trying to develop is switching to using more the WM services provided by CMEMS in displaying their products. Concerning the benefits, indeed, for us, having such a wide range of environmental data available, it's really useful for us, again, to build cetacean habitat model, not only in a descriptive way, but also in a forecasting way. Then, again, this wide range of variables allow us to actually access to a wide variety of end users that can help us in developing this platform. And well, me myself, being also really involved in the training of early career researcher and students, I do think that the CMEMS catalog is really an effective and essential tool for the training of people interested in marine mammal research. So in conclusion, we have been developing disaster risk reduction platform for the 10 years, and we are now starting to develop marine ecosystem monitoring platform in the area. Our specific interest, again, relies on marine mammals in the area, but we are open to collaboration to further develop this platform. So if you are interested, please just contact us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Time for one question.
Ghada Al-Sarafi from Deltaris. Very interesting presentation. I have actually two questions. One is the data that you are collecting, is it in the Mediterranean wide or is it only in the Pelagus Sanctuary?
Concerning the data provided by CMEMS, we are displaying the Mediterranean ones. While concerning, for the moment, IES data and marine mammals, it's only in the Pelagus Sanctuary because it's our research area.
Okay, and the second one, with respect to the protected area, which is the Pelagus Sanctuary, because there are plenty of work is being done at this moment with plenty of other projects like Ecopotential, Odysseia, and they are also using satellite information on the whales. So are you intending to use that in combination with the Copernicus?
Satellite information on the main, you mean tagged whales?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that there are projects going on with tagged whales. The problem with doing research with such data is also the number of whales that have been tagged. Usually it's like 8 whales being tagged in the entire summer, and it's not. So for the moment, we are not working on that data. Maybe I didn't really understand the question.
No, that is the question. I mean, if you are using that, because then you can really look at where are the whales, in which day, and in which form.
Well, not specifically us, because that data is owned by the group actually leading those projects, but we work with them in collaboration. The main problem with this kind of data is that you always access to where that whale was, while we are more interested in the bigger picture.
Now this is satellite information, so it is available. It's not owned by a project. We talk later.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's better.